Growing up, Cartoon Network was my favorite channel. Not only were shows like Adventure Time, Regular Show, Gumball, and Steven Universe good, but they were also very influential for a lot of anime projects today. But before these cartoons came out, there was a time where Cartoon Network was in a very rough period. I am referring to what was known as Seeing Real. If you aren't familiar with what Seeing Real was, it was basically an attempt for Cartoon Network to bring live action to its programming. I'll get into the reasoning in a later video, but basically Seeing Real failed to reach Cartoon Network's goal. Today, I will start a new series called Seeing Real Retrospective, where I will take a look at every live action show that has ever aired on Cartoon Network. To start this series, I decided to review one of the more successful shows, Dude What Will Happen, and by more successful, I mean it lasted more than a few episodes, as this show was still considered a flop. Anyway, Pietro actually does a decent job at explaining what the show is about. It centers around three teenagers, Ollie, Jackson, and CJ, and in each episode, they would try to attempt experiments to see if they were possible or not. So basically, it was Cartoon Network's attempt at Mythbusters. With that being said, let's take a look at an episode to see what the show was like. The episode starts in Badood's hangout, and the way Badood's talk are really annoying, as they yell like this all the time.
Dude, I totally had you last night. If that sun didn't go down, I totally would have won.
Damn.
What's the one sport that could have major consequences for not seeing where you're going? Football!
Anyway, they talk about how hard it is to play sports in the dark. So they tried to play sports in the dark as their first experiment in the episode. And I just have to ask, why is this an experiment? Me and my brother used to shoot basketball in the dark when we were kids. And while it was a little bit harder to see, we had little problems with it. Anyway, this will lead to our first experiment, where the dudes say they would try to play football in the dark, but instead they tried to complete an obstacle course while blindfolded. You know, it would have been pretty cool if the dudes tried to catch a pass while blindfolded, but instead, we just see them running around like idiots. After they complete the obstacle course, the dudes then decide they should try shooting a half-court shot while wearing night vision goggles. And I just have to ask, why did the dudes try to play football wearing night vision goggles in the first place? It would have been way more interesting than the obstacle course. Also, since I said I had no problem shooting basketball in the dark earlier, the second experiment is also a waste of time. Anyway, we see the dudes at the hangout again, and they talk about how hard it is to find a seat at the food court. This leads to them trying to joust on segways to get a table. Okay, what the hell is going on here? For one, every time I've been to the mall, I didn't have much trouble finding an empty seat in the food court. Secondly, what does this have to do with anything? After the dudes destroyed the food court, they start to complain about how crowded the mall is and how hard it is to exit. So to solve this problem, they decide to crash through the glass window. Again, what the hell is going on here? Also, I wouldn't be surprised if the mall sued these guys later, and this was one of the reasons the show was cancelled. Anyway, we then go back to the dudes' hangout, and they are laughing at videos that go in reverse. This gives them the idea to do everything in reverse. They start this by trying to race on treadmills backwards. I don't know how I can even have a race on a treadmill, but okay. After they raced on the treadmill, the dudes would then decide that they would deliver food by launching it at people while going backwards. I find it funny how some of the food hits the people.
There you go.
It's going very, very well. We got one more left in the catapult.
Just imagine, you're just sitting in your front yard, then all of a sudden, a hot box of food hits you right in the face. I know I'd be pissed if that happened to me. Anyway, after the dudes delivered the food, they would do one last stunt, where they would drive in reverse while trying to hit tables of bread products. Again, I don't really see the point of this, and it's really anything impressive since people back into stuff all the time. So today, we learned that you can look like an idiot if you try to run around blindfolded, you can lose a lot of money if you do property damage, and that going in reverse is dangerous and makes you look like an idiot. Now, to be fair of the show, there are some positives. The show did have a fun and chaotic energy to it, and Badude's antics can be funny at times, but when every episode I watch was like this, it can be very annoying very fast. Also, all Badudes in the show are all indistinguishable, as they are all loud and just say dude a lot.
That would be awesome. Then not even the sun going down could
And joust as knights for the honor of eating tasty deliciousness.
We have gathered here today to have a battle. Knight CJ versus Knight Ali.
But you look at Mythbusters, the show is still chaotic, but it's also controlled since they do test before the experiments, due to safety, which makes sense. The characters in Mythbusters also has distinguished personalities, with Jamie being the more serious one, while Adam is the wild card. So in conclusion, Dude What Will Happen is basically Mythbusters, but instead of the science, it's just constant noise and screaming with random stunts being performed. Dude What Will Happen was a cheap knockoff of Mythbusters, and why would you want a cheap knockoff when you can have the original? Anyway, that's basically all I have to say about Dude What Will Happen. So until next time, Koopa out.